I think it's about time to get started. I see already quite a few people joined. We have more than 40 attendees, which is great, and I think it's going to be even more. So yeah, welcome everyone. Really great to have you here in this webinar. As you probably know, we're going to talk about the boring edition. Super excited, not super boring, but James will definitely tell you everything about it. So again, welcome, thank you. And let's go to the introductions. So the man we have here, James Henderson, is lead solutions engineer at Shopify. And also before that, he worked at Accenture for quite some time with some of the biggest D2C brands like Kylie Cosmetics, Skin by Kim, really like billion-dollar brands, but also like large enterprise customers like Heineken, Siemens, BMW. So very technically capable, very experienced. I cannot imagine someone that's better to highlight these updates. So yeah, thank you for joining, James.
Great to be here, Robin. Code is, of course, one of our valued partners and one of our most experienced agencies in the Netherlands. So really excited to be sharing with you updates today on the Boring Edition.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. That's also a nice bridge. I will tell a few words about code. But first about me, briefly, my name is Robin Huizing. I work as a customer success manager at Code. So my main objective is make our customers successful and make sure that their business runs well and that we help them grow and just that they are overall happy. And before that, I worked in tech, have a background in tech, also run my own Shopify stores. So yeah, that's why we're here. And the agency that I'm working for, Code, already exists for 2 decades. But I think 7 years ago, we made the decision to really purely focus on Shopify. I think we were the first official Shopify Plus partner in the whole of Europe. So yeah, quite experienced there. We have a large team, also very technical, strong team. As you can see, we work with many very big brands, also smaller brands, of course. But yeah, I think that's it. We have offices in Delft and Amsterdam and Berlin. So yeah, that's it for Code. James, maybe you can tell us about the Boring Edition and the updates.
Sure. Ironically, there is nothing boring about this edition, despite the name. There's 150 updates. The tagline says nothing new, everything improved, but the reality is there's a host of new features that are designed to make commerce better and drive better results online. Before we get into it though, I just would like to remind you all that like Shopify invests a really significant amount of money in R&D. So we're constantly focused on making the platform better for our customers. Twice a year, we release our edition, and there's often 100 to 150 new features. It can be really hard to keep up. And often, if you haven't taken a look at the platform in 6 to 12 months or even 6 months, you're probably a long way behind in terms of your understanding. So be sure to check out the edition's website regularly for the latest updates. And today, we're going to share with you just a handful because there's no way that we could possibly get through all 150.
Indeed, yeah, that's indeed good to mention. So many updates. We really did like cherry picking together and selected the updates that are very relevant for our customers, existing customers and new customers. I think one of the most exciting things that we're also talking about, we will save that for the last, I think, AI. Is that correct, James?
Sure, of course, right? Everyone's talking about AI. You've probably heard enough about AI. The reality is that actually we've been hard at work behind the scenes, building powerful tools for business. You've probably heard about Shopify Magic and our AI assistant Sidekick. A lot of customers have been asking about it. It was first announced several years ago. It's a ChatGPT-like natural interface and an AI assistant designed to help you manage commerce operations. We're going to share a look at that with you at the end of the webinar today. And of course, you're going to see that rolling out soon in your Shopify admin.
Great. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen the demo from James, so super excited. All right, well, let's get into the first update. B2B, I think what's funny is that code was building Shopify B2B websites before Shopify even officially supported it. So I think we were pioneering there. We really also see how our customers are appreciating the focus, like renewed focus on B2B. And also for you, I think this is right in your field of experience, right, James?
Yeah, for sure. It's a major area of focus for me because there's just so much opportunity out there for businesses to evolve their model and to start selling B2B. It's a major area of investment for Shopify, and many of you will know that we launched our B2B offering several years ago now, and there's been around 20 new features since then. We've very much closed the gap in terms of features on some of the established legacy leaders in B2B, vendors like SAP, Intershop, Salesforce. And I think when it comes to B2B, it's important not just to think about the features that are there today, but about things like the investment in research and development, in innovation, the culture of the organization. So we're focused on continuing to build out the things that merchants need for B2B. And I think importantly too, our B2B offerings built into the core platform, right? So that allows us to bring a unified approach where you're able to sell both B2B and B2C from the one platform, which makes your architecture much simpler. It lowers your costs, and obviously it makes it much easier for staff to realize those operational efficiencies who are managing commerce.
Yeah, that's great. I think what's interesting, I read this report, I think industry report, I don't remember which one, but I think like Shopify was traditionally not really known for their B2B capabilities, but now it seems that you guys just came in first place. Yeah,
Yeah, well, we're now regarded as a leader in terms of our B2B offering by all the major analysts, so Gartner and Forrester. I think
yeah,
when you think about what it is to be a leader, it's not just having the vision. A lot of companies talk the talk, right? And they're great at sales and marketing, but it's also the ability to execute. And I think if you look at the proposition that we have, the kind of companies that are onboarding to Shopify, like Carrier, one of the world's largest pure B2B organizations, a $20 billion organization that does around 6 billion online and sells in hundreds of markets. It's very clear that Shopify has a winning proposition when it comes to B2B.
well, that's incredible. All right, well, let's get into the details then.
Hey, so in terms of features that make up this edition in relation to B2B, we've just enabled self-serve returns for B2B. So this is a really powerful way for your customers to initiate returns directly through their customer account. So it's just like D2C. It makes it more convenient for customers and much easier for them to manage returns. For the first time, you can work with a custom identity provider. So you can connect your own OpenID Connect OIDC compliant identity provider with Shopify's customer account to provide your customers with a consistent login experience across platforms. So again, this is a way of simplifying your existing architecture and obviously providing a more seamless experience across channels for your customers. There are now tax exemptions in place for companies. So this means when you're selling B2B and you have your locations defined, if in that particular market, no tax is required to be collected, there is the ability to configure an exemption.
Great, love that. And we have a few more.
Yeah, so something that everybody's really excited about, apps are now available for B2B. So just like with D2C, you can access 8 to 10,000 apps that give you the ability to extend your store, bring in new capabilities and features with the click of a button. That's now possible for B2B. So there are around about 15 apps that will work with B2B today. And some of the ones that I'm really excited about include Notify back in stock. So with the click of a button, you can allow customers to pre-order products. Checkout blocks, which gives you more ability to customize and control the experience in relation to the checkout than ever. Split orders, where you can create rules to split orders and automate fulfillment. And personally, I think a game changer for enterprise is our new connector for Akeneo. Akeneo is an enterprise-grade product inventory management system. And with a click of a button and simply mapping a few fields, you can have product information flowing into Shopify. This is something that previously would have required a small team custom development, and probably several months to realize. And how could we not mention the new app that connects Microsoft Business Central Dynamics 365? What a mouthful. It's a leading ERP system from Microsoft, and now Shopify has an app pre-built integration available to ensure that you can recognize or enrich the customer experience with product price, inventory, customer data, whatever data that you have within your ERP. Next up, we've got the ability to automate B2B account setup. So for a long time, the account setup process for B2B was manual. Often it involved completing a form, faxing it in. Maybe there was a form on the website that had to be manually processed. It often took days. In fact, I've worked with some clients recently where there's been 2 to 3 weeks required to onboard and provide access to a customer to the B2B website. What we've created today at Shopify is the ability to easily request a company account. And then from here, that process can be automated. So you can provide access to the customer, you can assign permissions, catalogs and pricing, even sales staff. Now, if you want to take an even more innovative approach, you could potentially configure the provision of electronic documents automatically and DocuSign for a completely automated process. Now, maybe you don't want to give them a credit limit and have them with the ability to buy from day one. So it's completely possible in the early stages for them to pay at the checkout using a credit card. Lastly, it's really important to understand digital performance. We have powerful pixels available with Shopify that allow you to track and understand the behavior of customers on the online storefront. For the first time, we've now got powerful capabilities in relation to B2B and also reporting.
Yeah, that's great. Also, one of the things that I saw and that really ties into that is that in analytics, you can now also easily split the views, right?
Yeah, correct. So something that everyone's been really excited about are the new analytics capabilities. And if you head into the admin and click on custom reports, you'll see there are templates there that very easily allow you to configure a dashboard. Again, I think about enterprise clients I've worked with over the years to build a dashboard, like that was previously a cumbersome and a manual process. We've made it very easy where you can simply drag and drop the reports that you're interested in, including B2B, for a single place to view performance in relation to digital. And this is something that's been really popular with our executive and senior leadership with the business. So they have a centralized view of their commerce operations and performance.
Yeah, I love that. I also worked on dashboarding, and I think not even everyone appreciates like how easy it is in Shopify to just open up a dashboard or create your own dashboard, your own report. It's really like an effortless thing. So yeah, that's something that our customers really appreciate.
Very true. I think you've just touched on something there that is the real differentiator with Shopify. It's that everything we do is about making it simpler for our customers. And you'll see that consistently across the platform.
Yeah, great. Love that. All right, so another one that's really big for a lot of our customers, markets international. I think maybe before we dive in, I think the whole market's got a bit of a redesign, a bit of an upgrade. Can you maybe tell us more about that?
Sure. This is an absolute game changer for organizations that are selling at scale. So for a very long time, you had a fragmented architecture. Perhaps you had different sites for each market. You had challenges around translation, languages, currency, and localization of the experience. I was talking to a customer this week that's on a competitor stack, and it takes them around about 9 to 12 months to activate a new market. We've completely rethought the approach to selling at scale to help our merchants expand faster and drive better growth. So let's take a look at those important updates in relation to markets, hey?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's dive in.
Yeah. So what you'll see on the left here is the new surface within the Shopify admin. This gives you a dedicated surface in which you can manage all of your expansion activity. So I really want you to think of this as a command center that provides you with an overall view. And this includes the markets that you sell in. It also aggregates the different approaches that you take in terms of omnichannel. Is it retail? Is it D2C? Is it B2B? Basically, you can understand performance quickly, and there are powerful new capabilities where you can offer extremely customized, personalized buyer experiences. So that could include, for example, D2C buyers in Japan seeing a specific list of products and associated prices all in Japanese yen. It could be B2B buyers based in the UK that see a specific version of your theme that's customized with a specific banner, a specific offering just for them. It could be maybe that in New York, you're showing your best sellers on the homepage. So for the first time ever, you can also, at the click of a button, expand into a market and set up a new storefront. Many of you will know that in the past, we've used expansion stores. So you've had to have a separate expansion store for each market. Expansion stores will still be available for some use cases, but now you can have a single storefront and you can manage all of your commerce operations and expand into markets quickly.
Great. Yeah, this is also super relevant for us now. We're onboarding a few really large enterprise customers, and this is exactly what we are focusing on now. And also, indeed, those expansion stores, that was one of the questions that I also had. Like, are they going to be phased out eventually?
I'm not aware of a decision in relation to phasing expansion stores out. What I heard from product this week was that there are still some use cases where expansion stores are a great choice. So this could include isolated and dedicated teams that want full control. It may also, in terms of your strategy around product inventory management and customer data, make sense to have a dedicated store. However, what we're seeing is a trend towards unified commerce where companies want to simplify, reduce the complexity, and they want to achieve more operational efficiency. So if I think about it, it makes a lot more sense to have everything in one place that you need, right? And it also unlocks a lot of potential for us to use that data to unleash powerful next generation capabilities in relation to personalization and AI.
Yeah, indeed. And I've also used this myself, and indeed, like, it's almost unimaginable how easy it is to add a market and just redirect to like a custom domain, set the currency, upload translations, and yeah, I think it can be done in an hour or something.
Yeah, very, very true. We've had cases where enterprise customers have been able to expand into 10 plus new markets in a single day.
Yeah. Wow, that's really crazy.
I think the important thing to note about markets is that the rollout started in December. It will appear over coming months based on the rollout plan. Some of you will already have access to it today, and you'll find that in the Shopify admin on the left under markets.
Yeah, great. I also like this visual that you've added because it really gives a clear view of how you see those different stores in your admin. Great. All right. Yeah, and a lot more updates also for the markets. Can you tell us a bit more about those?
Yeah, so sure. When you're selling internationally, one of the biggest headaches, right, is managing custom international duties and taxes. So what we've done is we've made it possible now for merchants to show a product which includes the international duties and the taxes. So this means no more surprises at the checkout. What we've seen already for merchants that have adopted this is that the cart abandonment rate has gone down and the conversion rate has gone up significantly. As part of our investment in Europe, we're rolling out new local payment methods. So this includes Barn Contact, GrabPay, KCP, Mobile Pay, Preslau24, Twint, and Vips. It's 16 new local payment methods for Europe coming this year alone. Some of them are already live today. And Klarna, allowing customers to buy now and pay later, is available also too in some markets. And one of the things that you've been asking for in the EU and the UK for a long time is VAT invoices. It's there as part of this edition. So you can easily generate, store, and display VAT invoices for both B2B and D2C customers in the EU and the UK with Shopify Tax. Lastly, managing privacy and compliance is always a challenge, right? We have made it easier than ever. So privacy settings will now automatically update when you activate and start selling in new markets or you make changes to the store.
Great. Yeah, I think indeed VAT invoices is a much requested feature. So I know for a fact that this is making a lot of our customers happy in Europe. Great. All right, and now we stay in markets. We will have a look at retail, POS. Can you tell us a bit more about why this is also part of Shopify's offering?
Yeah, the future of commerce, we believe, is unified, and we're already seeing organizations that are driving better results as a result of a unified approach. When we talk about unified, what we mean is that D2C, B2B, retail, and omni-channel are all enabled effectively by the one platform. So this reduces the costs, the complexity. It makes it much more efficient to manage commerce operations. And what we know is when it's more efficient to manage operations, when business have the tools that they need to do things quickly, it drives and positions the organization for a much higher level of growth. So when we talk about markets retail, we're talking about our point of sale system. So let's take a look at some of the latest updates.
Absolutely.
So for the first time now in store, you can process unverified retail returns. So often you have customers that might come in without a receipt or an order number. It's now possible for you to refund to a gift card. You will have seen Shopify customer segments. Within the Shopify platform, we have CDP-like capabilities that allow you to start to build and work with customer segments. These can then be utilized in conjunction with our automation and our marketing and our personalization tools to drive unique experiences and better digital outcomes. We have established new location-based filters in customer segments that allow you to personalize marketing campaigns and reach customers in your nearby and local area. The point of sale system itself is now much more customer focused. So you'll see there's bright and engaging product thumbnails, there's more prominent buttons, and there is the option to select more than one type of receipt, whether it's paper or it's digital. This is all about improving the customer experience. Lastly, tap to pay has been very popular on the iPhone for some of our merchants. We now enable contactless payments on the Android phone. And the good news is that tap to pay is now available in even more countries.
Great. Yeah, I think those customer segments, we have a really strong Klaviyo team also at Code. I know for a fact that they are going to make a lot of our customers happy with that. So about the last thing, like tap to pay, we see this POS device here on the right bottom. Does that mean that that can be completely replaced by, let's say, an iPhone?
Potentially, I'd have to introduce you to one of our retail specialists. It's not my main area of expertise.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I think like I know we have a few customers also in high fashion. They have retail stores and obviously online. So I've seen also how powerful it is that they have like a complete overview. They see the revenue online and they see the revenue in store. And you can even see like which of your team members sold the most, for example, for that day. It's super easy.
It is really powerful. It's sometimes referred to as a customer 360. We call it a centralized view, and it's all available there.
Yeah. Love that. All right. So another one, I think search and discovery has been a Shopify app for quite some time, but there are some powerful features, new features, I think, right?
Yeah, I love the search and discovery app. I know from a lot of the analysis I've done over the years working with big brands that most people, when they visit a website, will start with a search. In fact, it's as high as 4 out of 5 visits. So it's often a pathway to conversion. And if it's done properly, it makes it very easy for a customer to find what it is that they're looking for. We looked at our search capabilities some time back and decided that we wanted to introduce a customer journey that was visually rich, that was helpful, and that was engaging. So you will see now that there are product recommendations, there are related products, and it's visually engaging. The search and discovery app has just been further enhanced to give you more control over how customers discover your products online.
Super interesting. That's
So
and
you can now configure combined product listings. This means you can establish a relationship between different types of products, and you can control whether or not they should appear in search and product recommendations with search and discovery. So this is bringing greater digital merchandising capabilities to business users. There's also category filter ordering. So you can choose the exact order your category filter values appear in using Shopify search and discovery. Now, one of the updates as part of this edition is Metafields everywhere. Metafields are a powerful way to extend the data model. We've now introduced the ability for you to filter by category metafields. So this makes search and discovery more precise and aligns it closer with your business, which will enable better discovery for your customers in relation to your products. Lastly, semantic search is now available and there are more languages. Semantic search supports multiple languages, so shoppers worldwide can search using everyday language and find the relevant results for them.
Great, great. I think at Code we have a few large customers that have like 10,000s of SKUs. And traditionally in many cases we have been working with partners for third-party solutions for search if they needed a really powerful one. So how should we assess today, like if we need to work with a partner or if we need to use like the native Shopify search?
Great question. There's really been a trend in recent years towards composable architecture. So that is looking at best-in-class components that bring in capabilities for commerce and having those components work in concert to enable customer journeys and a unique experience. What we believe at Shopify is that our platform delivers more than 80% of what most businesses need, and that remaining 20% requires customization because there are unique things about every business. We think that search and discovery is better than ever, and we think it's a great starting point. It's certainly a very powerful tool for enabling discovery. We also have very, very strong strategic partnerships. We've chosen best-in-class vendors like Algolia and Clovio. So I'd recommend that you start perhaps with search and discovery, and then based on your requirements, potentially consider other options as necessary.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you for that. Let's oh yeah, so customer account extensibility. I think internally here we always watch the updates with the team, and I think like for me this was a surprise, but this was really the one thing that my colleagues were most hyped about. So yeah, can you explain a bit about the customer accounts and what it is?
Sure. So we know that when a customer is logged in, they convert at a higher rate, they spend more money, right? The customer account is a place where customers can traditionally manage their profile. They can look at their orders, they can initiate a return. We realized that out of the box, whilst we have a strong proposition for customer account management, that customers wanted more control. So what we've done is that we've enabled customers to utilize apps to extend customer accounts when the out-of-the-box capabilities don't meet requirements. So why don't we take a look specifically at how we do that?
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
So we're introducing customer account extensions, and this allows businesses to customize what we call the self-serve experience. Much of commerce is becoming self-serve. We know that customers want to do more themselves, and they expect to have the capabilities and features there for that. Buyers obviously have specific needs, and as I mentioned before, every business is different. So businesses can now enhance the customer account using third-party apps from the App Store, as well as custom apps that have been specifically developed for their storefront. So in particular, this could mean applying stores branding to customer account pages. It could be giving customers easier access to parts of your store and account. It could be adding app blocks and pages to customer accounts to give customers access to their profile settings and app settings. It basically provides more control for businesses. And there are a range of apps that are already available today for businesses to use. It's also important to note that as we have a unified offering, customer account extensibility extends to B2B customer accounts as well. And there are already some apps available in the App Store, and this enables capabilities like quoting within customer accounts and downloadable PDF invoices. These are things that merchants have been asking for from Shopify for a very long time, and that strengthen our proposition, particularly when it comes to B2B.
Yeah, yeah, I think you made very big steps there. And also good to mention is that within Code, we also work with our customers, are actively working and will work with more customers in the future to move from their old customer accounts, let's say the legacy, to the new ones. And then they have so many extended capabilities and just overall improved performance.
Yeah, for sure. New customer accounts was really a game changer, right? So it introduced passwordless login,
Yeah.
single sign-on, and also self-serve returns. There are more powerful capabilities coming in the future. And what we're seeing is that businesses are migrating from legacy or classic customer accounts once they understand the true potential of new customer accounts. What I will say is that it's legacy and classic customer accounts are scheduled to be deprecated and phased out later this year, because we're seeing already much greater satisfaction from the business and also from the customer in terms of the capabilities.
Yeah, that's really good that you mentioned that. And I think from what I see, going to those new customer accounts with everything that's possible, I think there's a big ROI there. I also see quite a few questions coming in. I think I forgot to mention at the start, but we will just save up the questions and have a little Q&A at the end. And then if we are not managing to answer all the questions, we will definitely reach out to the people that asked the questions. So good to know for everyone. So another one, draft orders. I think also if you're looking into re-platforming to Shopify, you might not know what the draft orders are. It sounds a bit like it's not something that is very important, but I think it is in Shopify, right? Can
Sure.
you?
So this is often referred to as on behalf or impersonation. So it's the ability for you to go in and create an order on behalf of a customer. Now, that order is then sits at draft status, and the customer is able to review the order and the offer. So it can be used for providing a quote. It can be used as a form of negotiation. So you can customize, obviously, the products and the pricing that's in there. You can then send that order. You can then send the associated invoice to the customer. You can request payment, or you can also set the payment terms associated with the invoice.
Yeah, great. Well, let's get into the updates itself.
Sure. So the theme of this edition was the boring edition, and that's a hint at a lot of the work that's been done to realize a more unified approach and to ensure that, say, feature X works with feature Y. So functions now work with draft orders. So checkout customizations that were made using Shopify functions can be applied to draft orders. And what this does is ensure a more consistent experience, and it really unlocks the potential of functions with draft orders. Extensions also work with draft orders. So now any checkout customizations that were built with our UI extensions, they will also load in the draft order at the checkout. And this is something that customers find very helpful, particularly for quoting. Draft orders pricing now locks. So you can offer a customer guaranteed prices, and those prices won't change until the order is complete. So draft orders also just got a whole lot better for B2B. We've upgraded draft orders so you can lock the product prices, you can offer bundles, and you can also collect deposits, and you can view and you can charge vaulted cards. So these are some more B2B related features that very much strengthen our offering for B2B.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also like this is absolutely valuable for D2C or B2C, sorry. But I think maybe even more for B2B. I think this will be heavily used. Great. So another one, we are getting a bit more technical. The metafields and meta objects. Can you tell us what it is?
Yeah, this is a subject that may like often intimidates, overwhelms. It's really, really simple. So Shopify has a data model, and that data model accommodates product, price, inventory, and customer data. We have a data model that's available out of the box, and it's flexible and easily able to be extended. And we do that using Metafields and meta objects. So let's take a look at some of the enhancements to Metafields and meta objects as part of the winter edition.
Great.
So I touched on this before. Meta objects are now available everywhere. So you can easily access meta objects. This could include things like featured reviews, brand ambassadors, and they can be used across your entire storefront or your theme. And when you go into the storefront editor or your content management system, you'll have the ability to use a picker in the theme editor to automatically bring that object into the page. At point of sale, customer metafields are now available. So as a business, as you shape and extend the Shopify product price inventory customer data model to accommodate your business, you're now able to realize those unique metafields that are specific to your business at the point of sale. So this allows you to work with customer information at the point of sale. It provides your retail staff with information that they need, and it also potentially unlocks powerful cross-sell and upsell capabilities. Sorry, I've just got someone here that wants to say hello.
Okay. Uh,
Just
wow,
one.
that's sweet.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So we're really excited about these changes to meta objects and meta fields, and we're really looking forward to seeing how our customers use them to personalize the customer experience, not only on their storefront, but also at the point of sale and retail as well.
Great, great. Thank you for the intermezzo. That's a nice one.
Yeah.
So maybe to make it a bit more practical, I also see that I forgot to add an image here, but can you give a practical example of what a meta object will be for something on a product level?
Yeah, so that could be like a featured review. So perhaps you've got a customer that has written a really, really great review.
Mhm.
You can reference that review using a meta object, and then you've got the ability to simply choose where you display that by from a picker on the online storefront editor, selecting that particular meta object. So maybe you want to highlight that on a product listing page or a product display page.
Yeah,
Perhaps if it's a great review, maybe even on the homepage. So it
yeah.
makes it more easy than ever before to actually incorporate data from third parties in the online storefront.
Yeah, yeah, great. Yeah, indeed. I think you mentioned at the start already, but I now understand it better.
Yeah.
And about the meta fields, um, like a practical example, if you sell coffee, for example, could grain size be one of the meta fields?
Sorry, can you just repeat that, Robin? You dropped out.
Oh, sorry. So let's say that you're selling coffee,
Yes.
and you want to add information that is not there yet.
Mhm.
So obviously, like normally you can pick variants like colors, for example, but let's
Sure.
say that you want to add grain size. Could that be added in a meta field?
Yeah, for sure. So you're exactly on the money. So we have a product data model that probably wouldn't accommodate the nuances of coffee, right? So we're out of the box with Shopify, you're not going to have grain size. I could very easily go into the metafield section and simply set up a metafield called grain size. I could leave that open as a free text field. So when I create a product, I type in the grain size, or I
Mhm.
could automatically pre-configure the options. So that could be small, medium, and large, for
Yeah,
example. Yeah.
yeah, great. All right, great. Thanks. Um, so the cart and checkout, I think, well, this is the most important part of your store, right? At the end of the day, we are building these stores to sell products. So eventually, you want the visitors on your website to go to the cart and to check out. Yeah, we all know what a cart and checkout is, I think, but maybe you can tell us a bit more about what it is in Shopify.
Sure. Well, firstly, I think we're a lot more than just a cart and checkout. But we do happen to have the highest performing and the best converting cart and checkout on the planet. And that's been established by independent third-party research that looked at all of the vendor commerce platforms and the performance. So our cart and checkout converts at 36% higher. And we believe after 20 years of building for commerce, that not only have we got high converting and optimized low friction customer journeys, that our cart and checkout experience is by far the best. And I think what's interesting about the cart and checkout, and some of you out there may not know, is that if you want to get started with Shopify, you don't have to take the whole platform. We have what are called commerce components available, and the cart and checkout is one of those. The cart and checkout is modular, and if you're on Commerce Tools, or you're on Adobe Magento, or you're on Salesforce, or Spryker, or Intershop, or you're on a custom stack, and you're spending a lot of money building out your checkout, maintaining it, rethink it, because we've got something that's available out of the box that you can simply plug into your existing platform. And we've got many use cases out there with large clients that have integrated our cart and checkout into their existing platform and seen much better results, reduce the spend on engineering and the maintainability associated with cart and checkout, and massively improve the customer experience. Cart and checkout continues, though, to be a priority for us. We have thousands of engineers that are working on commerce, and we have hundreds that are dedicated to the cart and checkout alone. As you said, it's definitely one of the most important stages in the customer journey in the funnel. So why don't we take a look at the enhancements to cart and checkout?
Absolutely. And I think that if you work with, let's say, alternative solution, and you start with the checkout, I think that could also be a great gateway into working with Shopify, so that we can also work together.
For sure. Yeah, we've had several customers recently that have been locked in to a 3-year agreement with a competitor vendor. In the years leading up to the conclusion, they've started a carve out, so it's lower risk rather than a big bang re-platform. And they have, or they're either implementing just the cart and checkout, and that's a great way to improve your performance and also get started with Shopify.
Great. That's a great case to share. All right, let's get into the details.
Sure. So cart is 50% faster. Cart was already fast. There was an independent study into the speed of Shopify websites. And of course, everybody would know about Core Web Vitals. This is basically Google's way of understanding the performance of a website, how quickly it loads, how quickly it's interactive, and ultimately how user-friendly it is. So we were found to have the fastest loading websites. And now cart and checkout has been optimized by our engineering team, and it's up to 50% faster. So what we know is that seconds cost money in e-commerce, seconds create friction. So what this does is reduce the friction, boost the conversion, and we've already seen results where merchants are seeing much higher revenue generated as a result. For a long time, many of the critics of Shopify have said that you can't control the user experience. A brand-aligned customer experience can't be realized. The checkout is a walled garden. That's certainly not the case anymore. There's been a lot of work in recent years to enable greater customization and control of the experience through checkout, and we've just made it even better. So checkout extensibility has been massively expanded. We've got 14 new APIs and UI components, and this includes a new branding API and updates that allow partners like you, like Code, and developers to create more unique experiences, and also to utilize apps. So just like across the rest of the storefront, where you can download an app, install it in the click of a button, you can have capabilities, features, and customizations applied in minutes. These are things that would have taken developers weeks, even months. In fact, I was talking to a large enterprise client yesterday, and they were telling me that it takes between 3 to 6 months to release a new feature. We had a look at some of those features, and 6 out of the 7 we have apps available for that are enterprise grade, used for commerce at scale, and with a click of a button can be realized.
Wow.
Next up, the checkout experience is even smoother. So customers will enjoy new animations, synchronous loading, and there will be customizations that allow them to interact with the page over 1 second faster. Lastly, carts now live longer. So everyone's busy, right? You start a purchase on a website, you pick it up on your mobile phone, maybe you look at it your iPad, you know, the dog starts chewing your leg, your partner asks you a question, the kids are jumping around on your head, and then you forget about it. We've figured out that the persistency in relation to our carts is really, really important. So your cart is saved, it's persistent for longer, and that's ultimately going to ensure that when your customer does come back, we've got an increased likelihood of converting.
Right. Yeah, I think now that you mention, I still have a cart open. I will complete the purchase after this call we have.
Please do.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, the final topic, AI. Can you tell us a bit more?
Yeah. So I think it's really clear that there's a platform shift happening. Everybody knows that AI is going to change commerce. I woke up on the 1st of January, New Year's Day, and I had an email from our CEO, Toby Lukey, and he talked about our commitment to being in the spotlight for AI. We're already a leader in AI. We've built tools, powerful tools for merchants. We have Shopify Magic, and we have obviously Sidekick, which is merchants' personalized AI assistant within the Shopify admin. So you're going to see further investment and development in relation to our AI capabilities in the future. And of course, this is something that everybody's really excited about. So why don't we have a look at what's available today and the powerful capabilities that we have in the platform? And to do that, we'll take a look at Shopify Magic, which powers our Sidekick AI.
Great. Let's do that.
Okay, so many of you have been asking about this for a long time. Partners, customers, prospects, what are you doing about AI? Where is Sidekick? Can we see it? We've been working on this quietly now for a couple of years. It was rolled out. It's been available to some customers. We've been tuning and finessing it. Building new digital products is extremely difficult. It's very, very hard. And we are really pioneering here and we're creating something new. So Sidekick is a personal AI assistant that is available in the Shopify admin. It's rolling out now. And if you look in the top right-hand corner of your Shopify admin, you should see the small Sidekick logo when it becomes available to you. It's powered by Shopify Magic, and Shopify Magic understands the context, data, and the knowledge associated with your storefront. And using that, it will have meaningful conversations with you. It can jumpstart the creative process. It can improve the quality of your store by making changes. It can tackle time-consuming and mundane tasks, things like creating a collection, creating a product, creating a marketing campaign, a segment. And it can also guide your journey in getting to know the Shopify platform. So one of the things that I'm really excited about is the potential of this to drive adoption. So we see a lot of companies that migrate, choose a new commerce platform, and then a year or two later, you find out they're only using a small amount of the features and they haven't really unlocked the potential of the platform. So Sidekick is going to help with that. It's going to help get your staff up and running faster, and it's ultimately going to become your personal AI assistant in the store. Now, what's important to note is that Sidekick is under continued development and enhancement, so it will become more useful over time. It will learn from you. And lastly, it's never, ever allowed to make changes to your shop without your approval.
That's great that you mentioned that. And I think like talking about AI, I think some people are a bit AI fatigued because every company now has and utilizes AI. I worked for an AI startup myself, which was acquired by a big American tech company. So I've experienced my share of the hype, but I've also seen really the power that it brings is one of the biggest technological advancements, I think. And you gave me a demo, James, and one of the things that I really liked here is that Shopify clearly focuses on the user value. Like it's very clear that you focus on what is bringing value to the user and not what is bringing value to our marketing team.
Sure. Well, what we know is that when it's easier for businesses and merchants to manage the commerce operations, when it's more efficient, that really unlocks the pathway to growth and better results. So that's a major part of our focus, reducing the toil for merchants, giving them the tools that they need, and obviously, as I mentioned before, making it a lot simpler. And we believe that in the future, that Sidekick is going to play ever increasing role in that for customers.
Yeah, I truly believe that too, for sure. All right, I think those were the slides. Thank you so much, James. We have quite a few questions and we have a few minutes left. So shall we just get into the questions?
Yeah, for sure. And I can see one here that I want to tackle straight up that
Let's
I
do that.
didn't mention as part of the markets update. So, question is, what if you have multiple legal entities, right, across different markets? So, multi-entity and multi-currency has been launched recently. You can now have separate legal entity for each market, and you have the ability to choose the currency.
Great. I think another question that I already got for you before we went in is about the variance update. I think that's quite recent, right?
Yeah, it's another like game changer. So everybody knows that Shopify for a long time has had 100 variant limit. Now, when you're working with some of the world's biggest retailers, particularly fashion brands, in fact, there's a recent client that we went live with that had some 10 to 15 million SKUs. 100 variants just isn't enough. So we've expanded that now. There's now a 2,000 variant limit. So this should make the proposition for Shopify for large organizations with a huge product catalog more compelling than ever. And it also reduces the amount of customization needed because, of course, there were hacks and there were workarounds in relation to that 100 variant limit. But it's now 2,000.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. That's a big jump. Um, let's just start with the first question. Is the self-serve returns for both the classic accounts and the new customer accounts?
No, it's only for new customer accounts. So we looked at customer accounts. We spent a lot of time considering how to actually drive better experience for customer. And this is one of the things that we identified as important. So you won't get access to self-serve returns if you stay on legacy accounts. So one of the great reasons to look at migrating to new customer accounts as soon as possible.
Yeah, great. Well, that's great. I think we will meet in the Delft office soon, Suzanne. So let's have a chat about that. I think indeed it's a great time to move to the new accounts. Um, is it possible to maintain the returns reasons per merchant? Mm,
Can you tell me a little more about that?
yeah, I think is it possible to maintain the returns reasons per merchant? I think that Martin means that you can set your own reasons, like root causes for returns.
Sure.
Yeah,
So there is as part of there is the ability to extend and to customize aspects of that. So that could potentially include like a picker where you note down things like, okay, the size was inappropriate, product was not what I expected, the product was different from the image. But
mm,
we could definitely follow up and take a closer look at that in relation to the specific requirement in the business.
yeah,
There will also be some considerations around the architecture for the storefront in that regard. Are you working with headless and hydrogen and oxygen, which is our accelerator and our opinionated view on how best to realize a commerce experience with a headless architecture? Or are you working with Liquid, which of course is powerful technology that allows you to build an online storefront? So
yeah.
we probably need a little more information to answer that question.
Yeah, indeed, and I think that goes for the other people that are asking questions. It's great to have this Q&A, but I think it's not enough. We have a few minutes left, so feel free to just reach out to us through code.nl. There's an email address there, or you can chat, I think, directly. And of course, if we're already working together, you can reach out to me or any of the colleagues. Um, I think the question that follows is also not super clear for me. What is there in the feature of B2B? In my opinion, the list under the compatible ads should be native, right? Pre-orders.
Uh,
Mm,
so all of the capabilities that were built for B are native to the platform, of course, because B2B was built into the core platform itself.
yeah,
When you use the new B2B apps, you're extending the platform using an app. So those B2B specific apps that we touched on, they all do different things. They bring in new capabilities and features. They're obviously not native, but they have been built by our partners. They've been reviewed and approved and validated for the Shopify App Store.
yeah, great. I think yeah, I don't see his surname, but I think Remco, we are probably already working together. So let's just get in touch about this because indeed the markets had a few challenges in the past. For example, one of them is Klaviyo. Our Klaviyo team worked really hard and we built a few custom things, I think, to make sure that markets also really work well with your email marketing campaigns. Yeah, any other concerns that you have, let's just get in touch and address those.
Sure.
Yeah. Can we have an automated translation with the localized app? I did that for English, and it says that the additional languages are with a fee. Do you have an idea about the quality and costs, or do you recommend a better way?
Sure. So, I mean, we have the Translate and Adapt app. It makes it very easy to realize translations that are relevant for the market.
Mhm.
Again, probably would need to understand more about the use case before commenting any further there.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And thanks, Remco, for also answering the question. That's always good. From Leroy, for managed markets, that is only available if you have at least one fulfillment location in the US. I don't think that's true, right?
Uh,
Um,
yeah, I'm not sure. Well, actually, no, there is only one fulfillment for markets available in the US, correct? But in future, you will likely see markets established and fulfillment centers elsewhere.
yeah,
I think it's already been mentioned that European markets has been something that we would like to do for some time, and
mhm,
we never make any promises about the roadmap because it can change at a moment's notice. We don't share a public roadmap. What we do is indicate that there are areas of priority, and that is expanding the capabilities of markets is something that is a major focus for us to help businesses sell at scale.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's really something that we feel and experience, that there is like a much bigger focus on Europe by Shopify. I think that's really getting intensified. So that's a very positive change that we also see and our customers also see. I think maybe also good to mention managed markets. It's a partnership with Global E, right?
Yeah, that is correct. But the offering is very different. So you unlock more value in terms of the Shopify platform and the unified proposition when you work with markets as opposed to globally.
Yeah,
So it's really worth sitting down and actually having a look at the proposition in relation to markets and globally if you're going to
yeah,
work with Shopify, because what you'll find is that there is a lot more on offer for merchants.
yeah, yeah. All right, great. Well, we have a few more questions, but I think it's time to finish this session. James, I would like to thank you a lot. I really appreciated you taking the time, and I really enjoyed our talks. I think it was super insightful, so thanks a lot. We'll definitely be in touch. And I think for the people that are still here, thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. And also, if you have any more questions or if you want to discuss something, feel free to reach out via code.nl. We do a lot of replatformings, we do a lot of B2B, and we work more and more with enterprise customers. So, yeah, feel free to reach out and let's get in touch.